Merry Christmas. It's December, that wonderful time of the year. We're excited today to be talking about the joy of Christmas and really how we balance the chaos that can also become exhausting during Christmas. We're going to talk about just different family traditions and different ways we celebrate and just have a great fun conversation. I'm excited to have these sweet ladies at the table with me today. I want you to meet them. So we'll start down there with Heather. Heather, just tell us about yourself and family.
Okay, my name is Heather. I'm married. I've been married for 18 years. I have 4 kids, twins that are 12, a 14-year-old, and a 22-year-old.
And we're all going, she cannot be old enough to have that age. But we're glad you're here today.
Thank you.
Jackie.
My name is Jackie, and I've married, and we've been married for 48 years. We have 3 sons, 3 beautiful daughter-in-laws, and 8 grandchildren. So this time of the year is very busy around our house.
Lots of blessings.
Yes,
Jackie. Lots of blessings.
Beyond blessed.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And my Susan.
Yes, I'm Susan, and I have been married to Gina's son for almost 12 years, and we have 2 little ones. I have an 8-year-old who's in 3rd grade and a 4-year-old who's in pre-K.
Yes, yes. And they are my heart. So great conversation today. And you know, traditions are something that we hear a lot about, legacy, and Christmas kind of brings all those warm fuzzies to the surface. So I just want to start, and I'm going to pick on Susan first because she's obviously from her accent, and that's why she's here today, by the way. So, but obviously she is not from around here. And so you grew up in
Australia.
Yes, and tell us a little bit about Christmas in Australia, because I honestly, you can't even wrap your head around it if you're from East Texas.
Let's see. Christmas in Australia is definitely different than Christmas in Texas. It's so hot. That's when I think about Christmas, I think about scorching heat. And
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And it seems
Because it's their summer.
Yeah, it's our summer. And whereas, you know, I know here this smell of Christmas is usually like fresh cookies baking and, I don't know, cinnamon or, you know, that kind of smell, like gives you the warm fuzzies. In Australia, the smell of Christmas is barbecue.
By the beach.
And, you know, meat just sizzling and lots of flies. And I know it doesn't sound very pleasant, what I'm describing. But, you know, there's happiness, you know, over there. But a lot of our programming, we have a lot of American programming. So when we watch movies and our TV shows, we see the fireplace and, you know, the cookies and the people sitting under the tree with their warm, fuzzy pajamas. And so that's what we wish we could experience, but that definitely wasn't the reality for Australians.
For growing up. And your Santa is typically staged on a
surfboard.
A surfboard, yeah. Santa on a surfboard.
Yeah. We don't have fireplaces, so poor Santa can't come down. I don't even know if they've thought that through of like how Santa gets to people's houses, but you know, Christmas in Australia is definitely, I feel like, not as festive. I don't want to speak for all of Australians. I'm sure that there are very festive Australians out there who love to celebrate Christmas, but I feel like the tradition of Christmas is so much more real and strong here in America.
We don't play.
No.
It's Christmas and like it starts in July. You know?
I love it.
That's great. So Jackie, just talk about just your memories of Christmas and growing up.
Well, other than the Christmas story, my love for Christmas came from my dad. My dad was from a family of 9 sisters and 2 brothers, and they were very poor, grew up in the Depression. So when he got a family of his own, Christmas was everything to him. And so he was a Assembly of God preacher. Yes, I'm a preacher's kid. That explains a lot. But one Christmas especially comes to my memory, and that was the year that my mom and dad were pastoring a church in West Texas, and they literally had no money. People paid tithes with chickens and food and not money. But there was a drugstore downtown and a doll, you know, in the window. And my mom went and talked the owner into letting her buy that for cheap. And I wondered why she kept going to her bedroom and she would shut the door. And I was like, that's really strange. But what she was doing was making a bride doll out of material that she had, got from other people. And this doll was beautiful. And guess what? I still have that doll today.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah, that's great. Heather, tell us a little bit about your Christmases growing up.
Well, I was born and raised partially in Chicago, so I can relate to having no fireplaces. We didn't hang stockings or anything, but Christmas was simple. It was family. It was baking cookies. It was my mom playing Christmas music on the organ, and me dancing around singing very off key.
That's awesome.
But that's what Christmas was, driving around looking at Christmas lights. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Susan, your family is amazing. We could have a whole program on just their story. I mean, they are amazing, amazing people. Came from Vietnam and part of all that history, and just such honor and integrity and hard work in their culture. But it was not a culture that celebrated Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't really celebrate. And it wasn't that they went out of their way to not celebrate Christmas. They just, it wasn't a part of their upbringing.
Sure.
And so, they just didn't really incorporate it into our upbringing.
Yeah.
And, so we just didn't really ever do the Christmas trees or the presents or the Santa or anything. But you know what? Like, we were still happy, during that time, because we work so hard throughout the year that usually that December season, people are off of work. And my parents, like you said, they work really hard.
Yes.
And it almost felt like they worked nonstop. But I feel like that December season is when they could just stop and be home and spend time with the family. And so even though we didn't have the Christmas trees and the lights and all of that, we still got to spend time together, which is really nice.
Yes, yes. And I know we have sweet ladies watching that are in different seasons, and maybe they don't have family connection. Maybe they don't have family right here with them. I would just stop and pause to say, let us be your family. We actually have families that open up their home on Christmas, and we have different things that are provided. So we'd love to share Christmas with you. If you're alone, just let us know. You can email me, Gina@roseheights.org, and we would love to connect you with some of those sweet families who open up their homes. But family is a very important piece of Christmas. Obviously, for the church family and the Christian family, the whole meaning of Christmas is just what the awe and wonder is about. That's part of it. So how do you reconcile those experiences as children? And reconcile may not be the word. Let's say, how do you bring in your experiences to your own family and create your own memories and your own traditions and your own things that are important? Because we do bring in so much of all of our history into our adult lives. Yeah. So how do you do that with Christmas? Jackie, let's start with you.
Well, because tradition was so important to my dad, that's really important to me to make sure that our family have traditions.
So you brought it forward.
Yes.
And
we had a son that lived in Ohio, and literally our family only got together twice a year. So when we got together, it was full-blown excitement and a lot of celebration. Thank the Lord he lives in Houston now, but family being together is everything. And then having 3 sons, one thing that I've started doing as adults is for my daughter-in-laws, during the year I collect different things and then give them a big basket, just for them for Christmas. And they, like kitchen things or candles or journals or anything like that I never got to buy with my sons. They were like, oh, Mom, don't, So having daughter-in-laws has been so fun because I've been able to build a tradition with them, and those Christmas baskets are one of the first things that they open.
Awesome. I'm thinking you a Christmas basket. No, I'm just kidding.
Bring on the festivities.
That's a great idea. That is a great idea. And, I know that there are a lot of times families get together at Christmas and it's the only time they get together. Are any of you in that situation where you have family that only get together at Christmas? No?
We were almost that
Really?
way with Aaron
Yeah.
living in Ohio, because we literally twice a year is all we ever got. We got
Yes.
to get together,
Yes.
so it's great.
Yeah. So what are some family things that you guys do, Heather?
You know, I just try to incorporate pretty much the same things that I did growing up. You know, my kids and I love baking cookies. We love doing crafts. You know, we love making ornaments, and
We're going to pick your brain for ideas in a minute. Hang on to that. Hang on to that.
But we just, again, it's family time. It's,
Yes.
you know, everything. I love that 2-week break with my kids because we can just
Yes.
find rest and just try to slow down and enjoy
Yes.
the season.
Yes.
Because we're so rushed.
Yes. So, Susan, this is going to be unique to you because you didn't grow up with Christmas traditions. And I know that probably coming into America where it can also be smothering, if we can just be that blunt. I mean, Christmas is in some stores in July, and that had to be strange.
Yeah.
So where have you found a balance with your sweet kids and just life because you're a working mom and all of that?
Yeah. I definitely have to be more intentional, I think, about traditions. Because, I mean, I'm married into a family. I mean, I know you love traditions and you're really,
Yeah.
yes, Gina over here loves to decorate every season for every occasion. And it's amazing. It really is. I love it. And Christmas, since moving to the United States, you know, I mean, I moved here as an adult. I was 24. And that's when I really started to enjoy Christmas.
Yeah.
And now it's like my favorite season of the year. But having said that, I do have to be way more intentional of like getting ideas because I didn't grow up with all of these traditions, you know, and trying to make our own. You know, Reese brings in a lot because he grew up having those things. So, you know, it's a lot easier for him to sort of take the lead on it. But, you know, Pinterest is my friend for sure. Or like when all of these other parents are posting their grand, you know, ideas and things that they've done on Facebook, I'll be like, oh, that's a really good idea. I should try, you know, I should try doing something like that. The Elf on the Shelf, I haven't. Listen, let me just tell you about the Elf on the Shelf. I did not want to commit to Elf on the Shelf because it seemed a little bit stressful coming up. I mean, I couldn't believe all of the ideas that people, I mean, they would wake up early just to like pin this elf
They're
on a
serious.
wall or like
Yes.
do.
Yes.
I love her so much. She introduced the Elf on the Shelf to my child or my children last year, and now they are eagerly awaiting for the elf.
They?
Yes.
Oh, my heart's happy. So the backstory of that is you guys were on a missions trip to Vietnam, working with Serving Orphans Worldwide, and I had the kids leading up to Christmas, and I needed something to, you know, make them happy at Nana's house.
It's okay. See,
But I will tell you, I wouldn't keep it. It is brutal.
Yes.
It's brutal, and I thought, who thought of this? And why are they punishing parents?
I mean, you even wrote a note to send the elf back to the North Pole.
Yes, I did. I was
For
trying
my
to get you
kids.
out of it. Like, come on, we're out of here now, and it's over. Pooh.
And my very literal child saw that and was like, that looks a lot like Nana's handbag. But, yeah. I mean, but that's good because it forces me to, you know, do things that I probably wouldn't otherwise do. And it's fun. And the kids love it. They really do. And I want to make it magical for our kids because I didn't, you know, I always felt like I missed out on that aspect of childhood. If my mom's watching, I don't blame you. I didn't think about that. But I really love what Christmas is here in America. It's everything that I remember from watching, you know, those shows and the cartoons and all of that. And I get to live it now as an adult, and it's kind of cool that I get to be a part of
that.
doing that with my kids.
And I believe you've introduced a little Christmas to your family.
Yeah.
Because of the kids. When they go, they enjoy seeing the kids. So it's a wonderful vehicle to introduce the joy of Christmas and the meaning of Christmas in a way, if we keep that as the focus. Yes. And in every tradition that we do, if we keep that as the focus, it truly is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
So some things that I've done as far as my grandkids. Well, first of all, when we get together on our Christmas Eve, we have a little grandson that's in heaven, and we have this special ornament. So they take turns. That's the first thing they do is hang Tyler's ornament on the tree, and that's a really sweet tradition for us to do that. And then another thing, and I think Gina's the one that gave me the idea, is instead of an advent calendar, do the book. And you wrap 25 Christmas books, and they open one every day. They're individually wrapped, and they open one every day. And then when it gets down to the last book, they know that Christmas is the next day. So I've really enjoyed doing that.
I did that with Rena.
Yes, it's fun looking for books and all that. And then something that Ronnie has done is he's Papa. And so he has what he calls Papa Santa. And he hides their stocking gifts all over the house.
Oh,
and he'll do things like what's in a name. And something in your name gives you a hint of where your present is. And the kids it might be outside in the playhouse or in the sleigh on the front yard. But then they're all over the place looking for... They look for their Papa Santa gifts. So,
I love that.
Yeah, so
that's
that's
awesome.
fun.
That's awesome. That's great. Any crafts or memories, Heather, that you got to throw out at us? Keep it simple.
I'll be honest, my mom was not the crafty person. So, and I wasn't either, but I have my daughter, and she loves crafts. And so Pinterest is my friend. And we just like finding different kinds of ornaments to make. And this year we're going to make ornaments from our beach vacation and incorporate things that we found from the beach.
So. Very cool.
Anything else y'all got on crafts?
Well, something else that we do, our grandkids, and this is what they really look forward to also, is I made silly little simple costumes or whatever. And
Okay, wait. You made silly little...
Well, if you buy felt, you don't have to hem it or anything. And you can just
that's
cut,
cool.
And so the two older grandkids that are 15 and 13, they read the Christmas story. And then we have Mary and baby Jesus. And they use a doll that was mine when I was a little girl.
That's neat.
And then we have angels. And one year the two little boys were so little, they were sheep, so they were running all over the place.
I bet they love that.
So it's great because it's we read the Christmas story and then they act it out.
Awesome.
So that
is awesome.
It's really fun.
Yes. So it sounds really, and I'm thrilled that you guys are here because it sounds like you have balanced the chaos with the joy. I know that some people begin to dread Christmas in July because it represents just stress and challenges and sometimes not happy things. There are families that get together and there's tension, and there are even family members who are disengaged from the family or for whatever reason. So there are families who have that sorrow attached to the holiday. So let's talk about the joy of Christmas. Yes. Susan, you used the word intentional, and I think we have to be intentional with that sometimes. But how do you work to not get worked up into the frenzy of Christmas, but to just enjoy it? I will be honest, in my younger days, I didn't do that so well. I think I'm better. I think it was self-imposed expectations just based on the culture and my friends that were Pinterest before Pinterest was even invented. It's just like you felt like you couldn't keep up, and if their kids are doing this, my kids should be doing this, and there is that challenge of just finding joy and not choosing the chaos. Any tips for that?
I think going back to being intentional. I think we intentionally try to make it as simple as possible. And for me, I don't really have super high expectations, which is probably helpful in my situation because I'm like, I didn't really have a whole lot. So what my kids get to experience now is like 10 times more, Christmassy than what I did. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good.
You are. You're doing great. You're doing great.
But I do rely heavily on on you.
Yeah.
I really do. I was actually telling Reese, I'm like, I don't know what I would do without you, because
That's great.
during that Christmas season, you definitely make up for where I lack. And we, when it comes to like, just those tradition things that are really I feel like are really ingrained in your family, and now is my family, and I love it,
And it's so
just love
funny
it.
because personally, I feel like we don't have a lot of traditions, but the
that's
ones
funny.
that we have, we just, I feel like I kind of feel like I'm a simple Christmas
I
person.
know. I mean, you made reindeer food for my kids.
Yeah.
One year.
I mean, that's just throwing granola in a bag.
I know, but I never would have thought about that. I would have never thought about that. But that my kids like went out and they sprinkled. They were all up into that,
Yeah.
and I would have never thought about that. So
simple is
it's
good.
Yeah, it's the simple
is good.
things,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
make them happy. So
Yeah, that's good. So the word you used, intentional. Isn't it funny that we're having to talk about how to intentionally be calm and joyful in this crazy season?
I mean, look at the society we live in. I mean, like you said, when they start decorating or bringing Christmas things out in July, it's like, okay, I got to be doing something.
Or I don't have that. I got to get that before it's gone.
It'll be gone.
But I think when even going back to the whole being intentional thing, also just viewing all of these traditions and the things that we do during the Christmas season is just opportunities to spend time with our kids and our family that we wouldn't otherwise have during the year. Because I feel like it's chaotic throughout the year, and we don't really stop to do things because we get caught up in like school activities and work and all of those things. But then Christmas rolls around and all of a sudden there are all these amazing, moments where you get to spend time around the table together to make gingerbread houses, to do crafts, or even just to curl up on a blanket and watch a movie. Those types of things I just value so much.
Yes, and we do build gingerbread houses, and Doug usually wins when we can get him to participate. So we try to do it when he's distracted because we don't want him to win.
No competition.
No competition. Yeah. So what do you guys do intentionally or just to kind of keep it manageable?
I have to just keep reminding myself because I want to be competitive, with trying to keep up with
very honest.
everyone, and I can't. And it's just taking a step back and just losing myself in Hallmark. And, just
With your blanket.
With my blanket, yes. And my mug.
Yes.
And just, I have to stay in the Word and stay consistent in allowing God just to fill in the gaps. Because there's a lot of gaps.
And I think what you said, I think we get in vacation mode sometimes when Christmas rolls around, and we can take a vacation from our spiritual emphasis and our spiritual priorities, and I think that's when we crash and burn. Yeah. And I hope your mug, by the way, is a Refresh mug.
Yes.
This year.
One of them, right, Heather?
I have a Refresh mug and a Hallmark mug.
Yes, these make great Christmas gifts, by
love
the way.
my
Yes.
Refresh
Yes,
There you
don't
go.
they?
Yes, they're great.
Sorry, that was shameless, but not sorry.
I think intentional is a great word for us to end on and talk about because, the first Christmas that we went through after our grandson passed away, it reminded me that Christmas is not happy for everybody.
Yeah. Right.
And we need to remember that there are people that are hurting. It's really hard on single people and women or men that have lost their spouses. And so this morning I was listening to Natalie Grant's Christmas Station on Pandora, and the song Emmanuel, God with Us came on, and I just sat there and I wept because what we have to remember is that child born in Bethlehem is still with us today.
Yes.
And that helps heal the hurts and the tough times when we're going through a lot, because we remember that he could have come as a king because that's what he was, but he chose to come in a manger.
Yes.
And that lowly, you couldn't get more lowly than that. And that spoke to them, and now it speaks to us because that same baby is with us today.
He came into what looked like chaos, but he was intentional.
Yes.
And he just came with joy and to proclaim
Yes.
who we are. because of who he is.
Yes.
That's a wonderful way to end, Jackie. That's wonderful. I want us just to end by praying for you today. Just for those of you that maybe are in a time where Christmas is not as joyful, and those of you that are maybe overwhelmed with comparing yourself to all the other super moms on Pinterest, or those of you that just need the Lord to touch your heart today and be reminded that he is Emmanuel. He is God with us. So we're just going to pray together. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful Merry Christmas, and let's just pray together. Father, we just thank you today just because we are in awe and wonder of who you are in our lives. Father, you are Emmanuel. You are with us. You are with us every day. And Lord, those of us that are here today at the table, we come from different backgrounds. We come from different beginnings. And as we focus on Christmas, we realize that it is not about us. It's not about our journey. But Lord, it's about allowing you to continue to be with us every moment of every day, even in the Christmas season. So Father, today I pray for those who are alone. I pray for those who are in seasons of sorrow. And I pray for those who maybe don't even know you, Lord, that just in a gentle way, you would let them know that you have come to set them free, and you have come to give them joy, and you have come to give them life. And Lord, I just pray your supernatural peace and joy just surround those that are watching today. Let us just be renewed in our spirit as we get excited about the weeks and the days ahead leading up to Christmas. And Lord, I pray, God, that you be glorified in this season, and we honor you today. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Amen.
1 Thessalonians 2:8. We loved you so much that we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well, because you had become so dear to us. The women of Refresh Women's Ministry are excited to share with you Refresh Life. These segments will air the second Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. on various social media sites. Please come and join us as real women show love, speak truth, and share life with one another.